Hello everyone, it's George and welcome back to Call of Dragons. As dedicated free-to-play player who plays this game for more than 600 days, I'm excited to share some insider tips and tricks with you. Stick around and let's dive in. Well, first of all, I have to say my power is not 49 million, it's way more, but unfortunately that's low because I have almost, well, more than 2 million severely wounded troops. That's simply because Dragonfall have been really fun for me. There have been a lot of fights and I'm getting closer to 3 million merits. That's like a small overview about the account, but in this video we're gonna speak about warpits, right? I have already done like Archer warpits total guide, like how I'm generally building my Archer warpits, and I think next one and next topic should be the mages, right? Because mages are my secondary main troop type, and I think I have some expertise in Mage War Pets also, right? And let's just begin. I think one of the first great war pets for mages have been the Sapphire Faedrake, right? You might see almost every single player using Sapphire Faedrake, and of course, it's not bad because it's old, it's great, right? I'm generally think that Sapphire Faedrake is still one of the best war pets we are having currently in the game. First of all, what we need to say, as always, legendary war pet actually matters because stats are really important. In our current moment for Sapphire Faedrake's priority stats are intelligence, spirit, and luck, right? And maybe in some cases agility. So basically, you have to try to have intelligent and spirit on a S tier. If both of them will be S, it will be perfect, close to 300. That should be amazing. Why S on spirit is important? Of course, I'm gonna explain whenever we're gonna go to the skill section, right? And yeah, just basically try to have intelligence and spirit on S tier, and you are good to go, and you are kind of ready to build your warpet in terms of attributes, right? For the skill slots, I always recommend to have at least 7 or 8 skill slots, and then try to decide to build the warpet. And yeah, for the Sapphire Faedrake, main skill is Pain Bloom, right? At the first glance, Pain Bloom is not really like something really special, but whenever you are adding the other main talent skills to Pain Bloom, it's just getting super amazing, right? For example, like solo Pain Bloom just deals damage to one legion, which is like magic damage type, and well, it's determined by intelligence. That's why more intelligence you're gonna have, more damage you're gonna deal. Pretty straightforward, right? So if you're gonna get second skill of the Pain Bloom, which is Intense Pain Bloom, each time inflicting Scorch, Hoarfrost, or Ensnare on one enemy legions, Pain Bloom deals more damage to next time it cast. Pain Bloom damage dealt, like in percentages, it's always great, right? And you can see we're gonna get like almost 3% more damage from the Pain Bloom whenever you're gonna have the second Pain Bloom skill. I think that's really important. The third one, which is even more amazing, Advanced Pain Bloom, the more spirit you're gonna have, the more extra damage you're gonna deal to extra legion, right? Which means you are basically dealing damage to 2 or 3 nearby enemies depending on your spirit. That's why I think for the Sapphire Faedrake, every single skill for the Pain Bloom section is really important. After that, I truly believe that follow-up is amazing skill for every single warpet, especially for the magic one, right? I don't need to have that introduction for follow-up. Basically, it just gives you a chance to double cast your damaging ability, your healing, or your shielding. So basically, these three things are generally the things which Mage War Pets are actually doing, right? You either deal damage, you either shield, or you either heal. So, like, perfect ability. I would not advise to get this third, like second follow up, which just gives us like some damage, which is like let me check. Like second follow up, crit rate is not really necessary. I don't really rate the intense follow-up, but I actually rate the advanced follow-up. Trigger chance is great, right? Especially if you have like S tier on your luck. After that, well, there is a lot of skills for Mage War Pets, like for example, Magic Spirits or Elemental Harmony, which is increasing crit damage bonus, right? But I always rate something like Resonance because, well, our like Pain Blow is damage dealing skill, so Resonance just gives us Warped skill damage dealt bonus, like determined by Spirit. Also, one more great skill which requires a higher spirit, and well, it makes our pain bloom even better. Of course, outburst of rage, we want to have more rage as a mage player, right, as a mage legion, because we are dealing generally damage from the rage, right, who's using rage to deal damage by the skill. And of course, as always, I rate crit rate more than crit damage. That's why I think magic fortune, especially if you have a luck on S tier, is great. Like, well, we have almost 11, well, 12 percent more because we have a high percentage of high number of luck in our attributes. And yeah, basically, I will finish this warped to add the advanced pain bloom, and I think this will be done, right? Of course, I wish to have higher spirit, but thankfully I have all the skill slots which is possible for me to get, and I think this is simply amazing, right? So basically, where you can use Sapphire Faedrake, you can use Sapphire Faedrake with Walder and Wellin, you can use Sapphire Faedrake with Lilia and Wellin, any hero pair, basically every single mage hero pair, you can use Sapphire Faedrake. Just you need to understand that this Drake is all about dealing damage, right? It's not heals, no shields, just pure damage dealing Warped, which looks great. I believe even like more Warpeds will come out for the mages, and I still think that in terms of your like pure damage dealing ability, Sapphire Faedrake is just great, right? Yeah, next Warped which I'm going to speak is Shadow Faedrake, and generally Shadow Faedrake is working amazingly well if we are speaking about mages with Bertrand and Toha, right? And basically, well, we can speak that Shadow Faedrake can actually work with almost every single mage, because that's another great warped. But it's not like pure damage dealing warped. It actually has quite important and great skills which we need to understand, right? As always, of course, legendary warped matters, and I think for attributes it's quite same, right? Intelligence, spirit, and third one, if it's gonna be agility, great. If not, then luck, right? So basically, intelligence and spirit is always the number one priority for every single warped for mages. And what's the unique about Shadow Faedrake? Well, that's the Shadow Hunter skill. At first, it's quite nothing special, deals damage to the target legion and inflicts captive. That's the most important. Inflicts captive, right? Of course, this spell is determined by intelligence, but let's see what's captive. Captive, your legion deals more damage to targets inflicted with captive. Duration 2 seconds, and damage bonus is 3.2% base. Plus, well, higher your intelligence, higher your percentage bonus. In our case, for 264 intelligence, we are having a 5.62% increase, which is great, right? It's not only great for Bertrand and Tohar, it's great for every single hero pair, which is damage dealing, right? But simply because it gives us some kind of buff, it says support, right? Basically, it's kind of supportive more because this buff generally gives whole legion buff, and you're gonna deal more damage, right? You're gonna deal almost 10% more damage, which is simply amazing, right? The next one, well, you might say Intense Shadow Hunter might not be that important, but I think this is great. Every single second talent skill which is increasing damage in percentages and which is same attribute is great, right? Well, you can see almost 20% damage increase for our Shadow Hunter, and that's our number one skill for this Warped. And for this third skill, Advanced Shadow Hunter, kind of same, extends captive, which means more seconds we're gonna have on our captive, more time we're gonna be using those 10% damage increase, which is great, right? And here also kind of same mechanic as Advanced Pain Bloom, more spirit you're gonna have, like for every single 75 spirit, whenever we're gonna have 3-star, we will have like duration extended by 1 second, right? So basically here we will have like Shadow Hunter for approximately 5 or 6 seconds. And come on, for 6 seconds, 10% damage increase is super amazing. So basically, you guys can decide where you're gonna put your Shadow Faedrake. It's like great warped for mage gameplay, like kind of same tier as Sapphire Faedrake, right? And well, next spells, next skills, what I will be recommending here, yet again, follow up, right? Why I like follow up? Because damage dealing, healing, shielding effect is increased, and you can this can be triggered once every 3 seconds. Well, come on. plus 40% chance to cast a magic rage skill again in 2 seconds after 1 second casting. 40% chance is quite a lot. Well, I would remove the intense follow up. I'm just having it because I can, but I would not really recommend. And yet again, you might see a familiar faces, right? Resonance. Still, well, we are building this warpet around Shadow Hunter skill, and Resonance gonna give us more damage for our Shadow Hunter skill. So basically, this is great, right? And well, how we gonna finish this warped? Yet again, this is my style. I don't know. I prefer to play around like this. If I have high agility, I'm going with Outburst of Rage. More extra rage gained is always great. If I have more luck, I'm going Magic Fortune. I generally don't really rate Elemental Harmony on Magic Spirits, maybe in some other occasions, right? So basically, that's the Shadow Faedrake. Bertrand and Tohar is kind of main hero pair for this Warped, but I think it can be worked and it can be fine with any single Warped, any single Magic hero pair which we are having. Well, we're gonna speak about one more, and basically that's the newest one, which I did not really catch yet, but I already asked a lot of tier 5 players, and I already kind of understand, and I already know what would be my preferred choice, how to build her, right? Seraphic Faedrake, the newest Warped for the newest hero pair, which is Sandalin and Thalia. And well, for the Seraphic Faedrake, let's not read about recommended attributes. Let's go and let's just go through these core skills, right? We can see intelligence, intelligence, and spirit. It's pretty easy to understand. Main attributes are intelligence and spirit, right? And after that, depending on your gameplay, you want more luck, you're gonna go for magic fortune. You want for more, you're gonna have more attributes in agility, outburst of rage. Maybe you're gonna have some more in terms of spirit. Well, I think you're gonna put two spirits because you're gonna spend one spirit on intense soul care, soul swords. Second should be always resonance because this is just too great. And then I think if you're gonna have some space, well, magic spirits might be the choice, right? But let's see what's the most important. Soul Source deals magic damage and heals both the Legion and the whichever nearby friendly Legion has the lowest number of units remaining. So dealing damage and healing for PvP, that's nice. Each time an innate skill inflicts the fixed skill that every hero starts out with, these do not include their talents, inflicts a debuff or a buff or a debuff, your warped gains one stack of entity. Maximum will be 4 stacks, which is removed when your warped casts a skill. Entity, well, per stack, which means like 16% healing grant and 8% warped skill damage, right? So basically here we are having damage dealt bonus up to 8%, healing 60, healing factor 160. Well, basically guys, this is just too great to not miss, right? I think everything what we're gonna see here is great for PvP. Healing is great, damage dealt bonus is great, and like pure damage skill is great. Advanced Soul Care, whenever there is a damage increase on a second talent skill, I always prefer to use it. And let's see, Intense Soul Care, we're gonna have extra max entity stacks by 1, determined by spirit. So basically, if you're gonna have like a lot of spirit, only 40 will be necessary. A bit because I'm pretty sure Intense Soul Care will be gettable for 3 stars, right? I think every single skill here will be important to have, and I think that should be really really good, right? Every single skill you need to have on this warped. After that, of course, follow up. We deal damage, we heal, and we have some shield effects for Thandalin and Thalia hero pair, right? Basically, I always recommend follow up, right? But unfortunately, we only already spent like intelligence, intelligence, and intelligence, and so it's quite good that we won't gonna put any more. Of course, I would skip intense follow up. I don't need crit rate. I would go for advanced follow up, and well, if I have high luck, I'm gonna go for magic fortune, some crit rate. Crit rate is great for healing also and for some dealing damage, right? And outburst of rage for some crit damage. If I can put it here, if I have some slots, some skill slots, I would go for magic spirits, right? Basically, That's how I would build the Seraphic Faedrake, and I think that would be pretty nice. Of course, there is one more warpet which I always speak, and that's Sand Lizard, right? I should always speak about Sand Lizard because I think Sand Lizard is a unique warpet and it can actually be worked with every single hero pair in the game. So far you can see Sand Lizard for Archer, and basically you can always change Sand Lizard for Archer to Sand Lizard to Mages, right? Basically, the stone aura is important. Doesn't matter if you're archer, mage, cavalry, or I don't know, infantry. Stone aura is mandatory. More stars you're gonna have on your sand lizard, on your stone aura, it will be perfect. In terms of intense stone aura, if you have lot, if you are fighting with 3, 4, or 5 march, and on every single march you have at least one sand lizard, don't put this intense stone aura on your sand lizards, right? Because this is heals more one single march. If you don't have it, every single sand lizard will heal every single march, and it's like kind of more healing. But if you are using only one march for fighting, I think intense stone aura is quite great. After that, the stone aura skill is really important. More like less cooldown on your stone aura, higher agility you're gonna have. Pretty important. Take that also, right? And after that, what you can change? You're gonna put a tranquility on your magic sand lizard. You of course won't gonna use a chain strike. You might even use follow up here instead of chain strike. Follow up here should be great choice. And of course, you're gonna like remove advanced chain strike, and you're gonna put advanced intense follow up, right? Let me check if that's, yeah, advanced follow up, and well, probability chance of more heals will be from the follow-up section. I think Stone Aura, Intense Stone Aura, Advanced Stone Aura, follow-up, Tranquility, and Advanced follow-up with the Great Care should be the choice for the Magic War Pet for the Sand Lizard. And of course, we have to say that Magic War Pet or Infantry or Archer, Sand Lizard is not a War Pet for dealing damage. It's a War Pet for just heals. So basically, if you are a mage player, you want to have a lot of heals, which I always recommend for PvP mainly, then of course Sand Lizard can be great choice. I think I spoke about every single warped for mages. If I will miss some of them, just tell me and I will try to fix it, right? Well, I hope you guys understood more. I'm just sharing how I'm building my warpets. If it will be helpful for you, I will be more than glad. And as always, if you like the video, press like, subscribe, share. We are getting closer to 1000, and it's like, I don't know, it's a surreal moment. I wish everybody amazing morning, night, and day wherever you are. We are going to see each other really, really soon. Bye bye and good luck.